hello, and welcome to Freedom in Lockdown, a series of conversations Friedrich Foundation Pakistan, FNF Pakistan, has arranged for all of you to enjoy during your lockdown times in Pakistan these days. And we try to make you meet some liberals of Pakistan and try to understand what solutions do they have for this country? How has their journey been? How has their friendship been? How has their bonding been with the foundation for so many years? And we have had such brimful conversations so far. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, is the last episode of this series of 10. And I thought, how about bringing on screen the person behind this whole series and the head of country office Pakistan and my very good old friend Birgit Lamm, and talk about Pakistan, liberal solutions about Pakistan, and absolutely her, about 3 decades of relationship with the foundation itself. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to the session, Birgit. How are you doing?
Walaikum assalam, Tawfiq. It's really a great honor for me to be here with you. As you've said, we've known each other for a very long time, and it's nearly 3 decades that I've been with the foundation, and I never got bored with it. So it's really amazing. At the beginning, I thought maybe I would stay on for 3 years, and now it's nearly 30 years. But no, I'm really great I'm here with you, and in a very special situation that we wouldn't have imagined to be in only 2 years ago. But I think here we go, and we manage fine, and we make the best out of this new situation here. So glad to meet you online, and hope to see you soon in person again.
Absolutely. And I remember you've been to Pakistan before as well, because you were the director of the academy. We've been talking about the academy, by the way, in so many sessions, and people are so fond of it. They have very nice, anecdotal, beautiful memories of the academy. And you've been the director of the academy from, I think, 2006 to 2012. And those were the times that you visited Pakistan. And I remember our drives from Islamabad to Lahore on the motorway, and you and I and Gulmina going to the old Lahore and all of that. So, but in this time, Birgit, you are in Pakistan in a different capacity, and it's a much more responsible capacity. How do you see this country for the last 2 years? You are here almost 2 years, although most of the time has been in a lockdown, semi-lockdown situation. But how do you see this country growing over the decades, over the years, as far as secular, tolerant, liberal values are concerned in an ordinary Pakistani?
Well, actually, the country has gone an amazingly long way. The first time that you also referred to, that was between 2007 and 2010, that I actually came 3 times when I was director of the International Academy for Leadership. And you were one of our long-standing standard moderators, always doing the communication seminars. So I knew you from before as one of our pillars of the seminar program, and I think even as a participant. So I saw, let's say, the development of, let's say, our personal experience there as well. And then I came back after 2010 with a break of 9 years, came back to Pakistan. And in fact, the very first thing that struck me was, in fact, the new airport. The last time I actually left, it was still the old airport, and it was pretty crammed. And I still remember these horrible and sort of also a bit dodgy security facilities there. And then I arrived at this very new, modern, spacious airport, and completely empty, but with a lot of art and the truck art and everything in a very modern way. So that was really my first experience of the new Pakistan. And I think in that respect, also Islamabad has grown bigger.
Yeah.
Of course, it has grown more modern, although rightfully so. Pakistanis say Islamabad is 10 kilometers out of Pakistan. It's not really Pakistan, but still you can see the development there. And my favorite city in Pakistan, I'm sorry for everybody else who's not a Lahori, is Lahore.
Oh.
I do really remember with a lot of fondness our visits to Lahore 10 years ago. And when I came back just before the lockdown, because I came in July, so at least I had 6 months of seeing, let's say, normal life and having the opportunity to travel. And I went to Lahore and I was absolutely amazed because 10 years ago, there were no flyovers, there was no metro. And of course, also traffic had been crazy before, but not as crazy as it is now. So yes, you see things have grown, infrastructure has grown, and that at least was also a very positive thing for me to see.
What about mindsets?
Well, mindsets, of course, in a big country like Pakistan, it's 220 million people. They have changed. I think Pakistan has become more modern in certain parts, but it has also become, at least in my perspective, also a bit more fragmented in a way that there is a bit less interaction between different maybe ethical or social groups. And I feel probably also with this experience that you had from the horrible, insecure years between 2008 and 2010 and later on, unfortunately, these days are gone. But people have paid a terrible price and are a bit more concerned about security. And I feel in a way that a certain trust in people that you might not know so well, that had sort of gone a bit back. People are a bit more careful about what they do and what they say. So I think it's good that we have a peaceful development, but I think these very difficult years of the past, they're still sort of in the minds of people.
Birgit, the foundation has invested over the years a lot in individuals all over the world. But I'll talk about this country, Pakistan. People go to IAF, get trained, come back. What benefit does the Liberal Party of Germany or the foundation get out of investing in people in countries like Pakistan? What is the benefit that German political foundations get out of such an investment?
Well, first of all, we as liberals, we firmly believe that everybody should be the pilot of their own lives. So our firm idea is we want to empower people to realize their project of life, but also be responsible for what they do. So our mission is really to work, promote a social, political environment where people can actually realize their project of life, and they are protected by a society and also government institutions that allow them to do so. And liberal for us doesn't mean, for example, people who smoke or drink alcohol and do all kinds of things that maybe are a bit over the top. But for us, it means take responsibility for your life in the positive, but also in the risk that they apply, because there's no guarantee for success. You might succeed. There might also be failure on the way. Of course, we all know that. But the important thing is that you have tried and that you actually have real opportunities to choose from in your life. And that's the really important thing. We firmly believe in that. And I think for Germany, it's very important that people are at peace and at ease with themselves. Because we really depend on good international relationships. I mean, we are a democracy, but we are also a big economy, and we are one of the greatest exporting nations in the world. So we have a very strong interest in having strong and peaceful neighbors and trading partners. And in this way, economy, for me, it's also a peacemaker. It's not something to rip people off, but it's to exchange goods and services that someone else needs. It's a very beneficial relationship. And that's very important for us. And in that respect, I feel we have a very strong interest in that people, wherever they are, feel comfortable at home and they see a future and have opportunities. And that's what we are working for in our own, very own interest and in the interest of everybody else.
You interact a lot with the youth. You visit universities and you meet youngsters, especially in Islamabad because of the lockdown and this post-COVID lifestyle. But in other parts of the country as well, you have been to Quetta, you've been to Peshawar, Lahore, Karachi, and as soon as you arrived, you made sure that you have the proper touch of and feel of the country, which is great. How do you see? I do not want to use the word compare, but maybe I mean that. But how do you see Pakistani youth in comparison to the German youth of today, or maybe in comparison to the Mexican or the Latin American youth of today? Because you have spent quite a substantial time of your professional life in Mexico as well. So how to begin? These are 2-3 different corners of the world: Latin America, Europe, South Asia. How do you compare, especially the youth?
Well, first of all, the first striking difference, at least to Germany, comes with size. Pakistan is an incredibly young country. The average age here in Pakistan is 22. In Germany, I'm not so sure about the current stats, but it's around about 42 or 45. So, I mean, this for a whole society gives a completely different mindset, because young people by nature, they want to explore the world, they are hopeful, they want to start a family, they are thinking about a professional career. And this is a very positive atmosphere, which I really enjoy. When young people are around, they are always full of hope, of expectations, and the world seems to have so many different opportunities for them. And for me, this is always an enormous obligation as well, because you would like to give them opportunities to choose from. And I think the worst crime in the world you can do is deprive a young person of opportunities in life. And then that's also dangerous for a country, because what do you do with a frustrated youth? What is at first an incredibly treasure and a bonus. I mean, scientists also talk about a demographic bonus when you have a young country, but a demographic bonus, in inverted commas, is not necessarily a bonus in itself if you don't have opportunities for young people. True. And I think frustrated young people are the most terrible thing that can happen to a country. So yeah, I feel that Pakistan is such a young country is actually something I really enjoy, and that also make me feel more vibrant and younger in a way. And I really want to do my best, and that these people can actually pick and choose a few things from our program that might make them develop their own ideas of starting a business, what they would like to do in their personal lives, maybe also how they can make a difference in their community, because this is what we are about. If you want to make a difference in life, it's not only about yourself personally, it's not about your family, but it's also how you as a citizen would like to see your country develop. And this I feel in Pakistan, since it's such a young nation, it's an enormous vibe, it's a power, and there's a lot of life energy behind it, which I really feel it's so lovely.
What do you miss about Mexico the most?
Well, actually, I miss the food, which is incredibly spicy and even spicier than the Pakistani food. The Mexicans have 22 different types of chili, and I love them all.
I'm a very big chili person, so 22 different varieties of chili, that's my place.
Yeah, and it's a very joyful culture, which has a lot of music and open air interaction among each other, and people have an incredible joy and zest for life. unfortunately, due to COVID, I mean, this joyful life and this zest and going out into the open and mix and interact with each other, it's gone right now, but hopefully we are going to get it back in a few years.
Birgit, now I come to my favorite question of the series, and this is one question I've been asking everyone, and I've had such interesting, amazing answers from most of our guests. So the question is, if I give you a magic wand, what is one thing about Pakistan that you would like to change overnight?
I would like to make administration more effective.
Okay.
And make it less bureaucracy, so that people can really realize their ideas and make it more supportive for people.
On a personal side, now that when you look back your relationship with the foundation, 3 decades, about 28 years, and you in the beginning told us that when you started working for Friedrich Naumann Foundation, like any other young lady, you must have thought, it's going to be 2 to 3 years, and then I will hop on. What is this the ideology that you're glued to, you're in love with? Is this the foundation? What made you stay on for 28 long years?
Well, actually, time has gone by like this, and I can hardly believe that it's nearly 30 years. But you're right, as a young person, you don't even have the dimension where, when you're only 23 or 24 years old, to imagine that you might have a professional life of 30 years. It's just not in your personal experience at that time. And of course, I also thought maybe 2-3 years and then I move on to something else. But I just found that the foundation at that time, or until now, has been so incredibly diverse in its different positions as well. So I started off very humbly as the personal assistant to the director of the international department. I moved to press relations, then I went to the domestic affairs department and worked in domestic civil education. I was an administrator at that time. One of my most favorite jobs was, of course, director of the International Academy for Leadership. And now I'm here. So the foundation actually offered me an enormous range of different activities. And I've also changed my positions and responsibilities within the foundation every 3 to 5 years. So it's not that I've just been pushing around paper from right to left or the other way around for 30 years. So the foundation has given me a lot of opportunities to learn different things, be exposed to things that I feel passionate about. And I've always wanted to explore and see for myself, travel, learn from different countries. And I've always been very much concerned about social developments and about politics. And I always wanted to do something where I feel I can contribute something to society and life. I never really felt passionate about a purely corporate job, like, I don't know, selling shoes or radios. I would say it's just so much more if you can work in education and you can give people a platform to develop ideas.
Selling ideas is much more difficult than selling shoes, I guess, no?
Yeah, and it's also sometimes more difficult to explain ideas, but Friedrich Naumann Foundation, we invest in ideas and in people's minds, and we would like to see people and minds grow. And this is also my personal motto. If you look at my LinkedIn profile or my Twitter profile, how I describe myself, I say I'm a freedom-minded world traveler. And my passion is I would like to see people and ideas grow. And I think in that respect, it's just for me the perfect place to be. A few years back, we had a meeting of my graduation class from high school, my A-level class. and we came together after 20 years. I didn't recognize everybody, but some of them straight away. And then we started discussing who actually found the job of their dreams. And we were a class of 120 people, and there were just 3 of us who could actually raise their hands. And I was lucky to be one of them. And all the others started off, of course, with good intentions. You want to be a lawyer and defend the poor. You want to be a doctor. You take over the family's business or whatsoever. But in the end, a lot of people get disappointed along the way. But I'm so happy I'm not one of them. So yeah, I'm so happy where I am.
Yeah, and Birgit, while you were saying this, I was comparing it with the Pakistani system, and it's very interesting to know that from a German background, being taught and studied in a German system and worked in a German society, it's still the ratio is 3 to 120, which is really astonishing for me, because we in a country like Pakistan, we sometimes think that it's because of our system, our educational system, our job opportunity system, our structure is such that we do not end up doing whatever we want to do in our lives. But it's really, I'm really astonished to know that it's almost the same in Germany. It's not, this means it's a very global, it's a global human phenomenon.
Well, Tosik, I think it has much more to do with yourself than maybe with the system. You need to have an idea of what you would like to do, and you would also need to know what you really feel passionate about. And a lot of people don't have that. I had a lot of classmates at college who wanted to study business studies or law because they didn't really have a clear idea of what they wanted to do later on. Yeah. And you can never go wrong if you do business studies or law. So you will always sort of get a job somewhere in a business or whatsoever. And of course, there are also those who come with high hopes, and then later on, you choose a profession and you find out it's going to be different from what you thought it was going to be. I mean, you also make a decision at a point in time when you virtually have no experience of life outside of school. So maybe if you're a student, you know what your teacher is doing, or you have an idea of what your teachers do in the classroom. You don't know what they do in the back room. But practically the only professions you know is what your teachers do, your school, and what your parents do. And everything else is something that you might know from TV or something that you've heard about. But the unfortunate thing is you need to make a decision about that when you virtually have no life experience. Probably if you had the mindset of, or the experience of a 40 or 50-year-old, and you were still in the body of an 18 or a 20-year-old person, the thing is easier. But unfortunately, it's not like that. And we cannot rewind the clock. So
But if I give you a chance to rewind the clock, what would you like to change about your life?
Actually, maybe I would stop being so perfectionately German and go a bit more with the flow and pick and choose, let's say, the opportunities which you find along the way. It would probably.
And accept the fact that there is no harm making mistakes.
Yes, exactly. I mean, you do commit them anyway. And there are so many mistakes and errors you can do in life. But there's one thing that you should never do, commit the same mistake twice. Because there are so many others you can do. And sometimes you do not even know whether it's a mistake. So learn from your experience and move on. Yeah, I think that's basically what you should do.
Birgit, you are equally fluent. Of course, German is your mother language, but you're very fluent in English and Spanish. And but my question now is not about Spanish, English, or German. It's about Urdu. Give me your 3 favorite words of Urdu you have learned so far.
Well, my absolute favorite, even before I learned Urdu, is Jugaad. This is the amazing capability of the Pakistanis to come up with a solution that
Jugaad lagana.
yeah, that's really one of the best things that and I can think about.
Can you translate? Do you have a translation of jugaad in German? Do we have a word equivalent conveying the same meaning as the word jugaad does?
Well, I think in German you would need to transcribe it. It would probably be something like the art of improvisation, something like this.
But the feel jugaad has, that feel is not there in any other language. Okay, tell me this.
Yeah, it's something which is really cannot be translated into any other language, but I think it's rather mindset, and it's an attitude that you have. And
tell me the second word.
One. Yeah, and the next one, I think the next two, they are actually about food and drinks. So one is dudh patti. I just love Pakistani mixed tea. And the other one is chicken karai. So I'm a very sensual person, and it's not only what I see and explore, it's also what I eat. And one thing which I've taken from lots of places in my life is actually cooking recipes. It's taking the flavors of, literally the flavors of places with me. And
do you try Pakistani recipes at home? Do you try yourself? You experiment?
I've tried some South Asian recipes with regard to dal, and some of the fruit recipes, of course. I love the mangoes, of course. So the mango parties, and of course everything that goes with preparing mangoes, like I like the chutneys, and of course the fruit salads, which you combine also with chili, which is one of my favorites anyway. And another one which I really love is chapli kebab, which is also the chapli kebab from Magdan, which is really very nice. So yeah, I'm very much in love with Pakistani food as well.
I can see that. I can see that. Okay, Birgit, where do you see yourself 10 years from now? Of course, in the foundation, because I think that's a constant.
Well, whether it's in the foundation or outside the foundation, one never knows. Life goes on.
Of course.
But definitely, I would see myself hopefully in a position where I can make a difference in life, where I can still learn a bit about others. This is also for me very important, to be in a learning environment where I can develop myself. So I get very bored with routine work very quickly. So being a pure administrator wouldn't really be my issue, although I consider myself to be a fairly good manager as well. But yeah, I would feel happy to have a job where I can hopefully inspire others to develop ideas and move on in life. So yeah, that would be, whether it's in Germany or in Asia or another part of the world, I think that's not really so important for me. The important thing is that it should be something that people feel special about and feel that it can serve them. So for me, it's important that people feel that what we do is actually important for them.
True. Interesting. Yeah, yeah. Okay, Birgit, I'm going to tell 3 things which are very close to your heart, but you have to pick one.
Okay.
Cycling, running, or hiking?
Right now, hiking.
Because you're next to Margalas.
Because I live only 10 minutes away from the Margalas, and yeah, it's a marvelous holistic experience, I would say so. First of all, it's an amazing place here in Pakistan. And you're, let's say, at the foot of the Himalayas in the end, and you look into the plains of Punjab. So you really feel you're sort of at the crossroads of two major regions. The animals and the species, it's also amazing. You see the animals, the birds, and you have everything which lives in the Punjabi plains and the Himalaya species coming there. Yeah. And you have a good view. You just feel you're very close already to the sky. So yeah, I enjoy that a lot.
In the end, one advice, because I've been taking advice for the foundation from the other guests, but from you, I would like to take an advice to the freedom gators, the alumni, the people who have been associated with the foundation for many, many years, who call themselves liberals of Pakistan. What is your advice to them?
Well, I don't even know whether it's an advice. I think it's rather a request. I would invite them to share their ideas with us and share their projects with us because you're our ambassadors. We have gone a long way together, and you know how you would like to develop Pakistan and where you can make a difference in the developing of your country. And we are here to help you. So please come talk to us and give us your ideas of how we can support you to move forward.
Birgit Lamm, it was indeed a great pleasure to have you in this conversation sessions. We are ending it tonight. And I am happy that we are ending it on a very nice, positive, happy note. The bar is high.
Thank you so much.
And friends, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me for this special session with Birgit Lamm. She is the head of Country Office Pakistan, Friedrich Naumann Foundation, FNF Pakistan. And also, please, I would like to invite you to watch other sessions with other guests if you have missed out on any of them. We have had, I think, quite a substantial, mindful conversations during the last 10 days, of course, with a lot of fun. Fun there, it has to be fun. So there's a lot of fun, and people talk their hearts out. And also, the best thing about these conversations was that people came up with ideas. And that is what the foundation majorly believes in. This is what Birgit was also saying: ideas, exchange of ideas, pluralistic ideas, listening to others, sometimes correcting yourself and saying, all right, somebody else can have a different opinion. Let me try to understand that opinion. I think that is exactly what happened during the last 10 days. And I'm so very happy that we did that. Take good care of yourself. Hope to see all of you in person sometime in life after the COVID times end. Take care. Bye-bye.